Welcome to Straight from the Source. Our guest this week is Will Caput, who I'm sure a lot of people know you just because you are my go-to person. Anytime somebody's been hacked or anything involving the Marines, you've always been a good friend to Action News Now and our community.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. So let me ask you, first of all, it takes a special kind of person first to have the intelligence to figure out how computers work in general. How did you get started into this field?
So I've always liked computers. I got one when I was really young, and my parents kind of supported my interest. And then when I went in the Marines, I got put into like a cyber division.
Okay.
Back when cyber was just coming out. So that's kind of how I started.
So you're probably like in my age range. So I take it that you remember the era of like for me, I remember my dad, he worked at home, he was a lawyer, and he had literally a typewriter. And then we got that first computer with like Windows 95 or whatever on it. So you probably were around, it's safe to say that you were around for like the dawn of the computer and being a normal household thing.
Yeah, that's around the time, even earlier actually. So yeah, I had, MS-DOS, just terminal, learning how to, type and everything on there.
Remember those old Macintoshes that were just like these big boxes? And I remember just thinking it was the coolest thing that you could like print something out in your own home.
Yeah, yeah.
So did you ever build a computer, get a starter kit?
Yeah, well, my first computer, my parents bought for me, and it wasn't powerful enough to do some of the things I wanted, so I was tinkering with it, upgrading it, and then from there, I built my computers after that.
So when you were so young, how did you figure out how they work? Did you have to take it apart, or because now if we want to learn something, you go onto the computer to access the information. But before that, how did you do it?
It's just mainly just trial and error.
Okay.
So when I got it, there's a user manual on the operating system, which was MS-DOS, and you just have to start typing and figuring things out to see how things work. But there's no Google to ask.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of just figure it out on your own.
Okay.
So I'd spend a lot of time just working on that.
Just a curious mind.
Yeah, having a curious mind. Yeah.
So what is the deal with 0001100? Like the 0-1 thing when it comes to programming, what is that about?
Well, it's just binary, so it's just like low-level assembly language. Now, we have more advanced languages like Java or Python that actually you can write in human terms, and it translates to machine code.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you when you are programming a computer or whatever? Is there any way to Bill Nye the Science Guy this for us? Somebody who doesn't understand how computers work, how programming works, what is it that goes into it?
Goes into build or creating one?
If you're building a computer, how do you take just the little green board with all the wires and stuff and create something that pops up on your screen and supports all these different programs?
Yeah, so just a lot of hardware that you have to get the right hardware. Some of it's not compatible. So you get all those pieces together, then your software kind of runs everything. So it all communicates with the board and the memory and everything. So you could go Windows, you can go Mac, you can go Linux. There's so many different flavors that you can go with.
And I remember there being a time where everybody does Apple everything now, it seems like, especially because the iPhone, and you want it all to be compatible. But I remember an earlier selling point was that Apple is harder to hack into than some of the other programs. Is that still the case?
Yeah, mainly because corporate uses Windows.
Okay.
And I use Android and Windows. So people are after corporate data. They're after, they're not necessarily after your home PC.
Okay.
A lot of people have a Mac at home. So the ecosystem is more specific to Windows.
Okay.
Yeah, but doesn't mean Mac is secure, because Mac is based off Linux, which is another operating system, and there's been some pretty significant vulnerabilities that have come out, in there.
Yeah. Okay. So when it comes to our own personal data, right? There's so many things because nobody wants to remember a password, and so you have the Face ID, that's great, right? They have the multi-step factor security checks now, and it's a drag, but we're grateful for it because nobody wants to have their identity stolen.
Right.
There's so many things that we're seeing these companies do to kind of back us up and try to secure our information. But at the end of the day, it's kind of eerie. If I go on my work computer and I just type in Amazon, it goes to my homepage, I'm already logged in, it already has my credit card saved, my doctor's portals, they have my social security number, everything about me is available on the internet to somebody who knows how to get it.
Exactly.
And I would say that the number of people who know how to get that information seems to be growing.
It is. lot of these companies, they hire people like me that secure the data. They test to make sure no one can get to it.
Okay.
So there's a lot of air gaps, whereas like if someone does get your password, can they get to your credit card? So PCI, all these regulations kind of segment that out. So you get to one machine doesn't mean you can get to the next one. So there's layers of security there. But the bar to entry now is lower because of AI. So now, all the knowledge that I accumulated over all my years, and AI can do it. So pretty much anybody can go out there and just be like, hack this website. Or we're getting to that point where it's going to be, extremely easy.
Wait, like I could go on ChatGPT and say, can you help me hack into something? And it would help me?
They have guardrails in place. So if you do ask it something like that,
Sure.
they say, I'm not allowed to answer
Okay.
that. But like the newer models like Mythos and
Okay.
Anthropic's new model, like those have the ability to say, okay, you want to hack whatever, give me a company. It will scour the internet. It will
Okay.
try and find a way in.
Interesting.
Yeah, so a lot of what I work in now is like we look at these new emerging AI models
Yeah.
and see how they can help secure our company better. And
Okay.
they find a lot of things that are not caught.
Okay, so the bad guys are using AI to get better at breaking in, and the good guys are using AI to get better at protecting.
Yeah, and there's, the United States, we have most of them. We have Anthropic, OpenAI, we've got X, we've got all of the main ones, but then, China has DeepSeek.
Okay.
So while we put all these guardrails on ours and we prevent access and you can't ask those questions like, hey, can you hack this person?
Right.
Foreign models don't have those guardrails in place.
Yeah.
So if someone were to, have one of those, they'd be able to do what you're asking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you were talking to, when this is released, the story you did with Bea will already have run, but just because I'm curious, we heard rumors circulating yesterday. I saw something in the Fresno Bee about how Chico's Cal water system was one of many that was targeted by
Yeah.
Iranian hackers trying to get into our water supply.
Water supply system, yeah.
How could somebody do that? And like, what could they do?
Well, what I was reading, because I was doing some research on it when you
Yeah.
brought it up, is that there was an exposed server or
Okay.
some type of device on the internet.
Yeah.
This is kind of what's happened before when we've talked, like Enlo and like Chico State.
Yeah.
A lot of them, like something will be on the internet, it's exposed, it's vulnerable to some exploit, and a hacker will find it and they'll be able to basically take advantage of
Right.
it. That seems to be what happened with Cal Water.
Yeah.
Exact same scenario.
So it's interesting because, like, I think that a lot of times these hackers, they just want money. It's like a ransom, right? Like, they're holding your data in, like, hostage. But I think that a larger fear, not just identity theft sort of stuff, would be like when you hear about someone's water system being hacked, you think about like terrorism, right?
Yeah.
Like, could they contaminate the water through hacking its computer system, make the water dangerous or something like that? It's a possibility, right?
That's a valid threat. I've actually, in my past, I've actually tested some of these systems, and they're segmented, so they're you're not able to connect to them.
Okay.
So if someone were to come in and compromise the billing system, can they get to that network, which is called a SCADA network? It's typically so old and like outdated that you can't connect it to any network because anybody could just destroy it.
Yeah.
So, I don't see them having access to that.
Yeah.
That's more of an in-person, you get into a facility, you can access that network versus on the internet.
Yeah.
They don't put these devices on the internet.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
So, and this is, we won't talk too much about your specific company and all the details of that, but like your job essentially is, like you said, helping other systems stay strong, right? And to stay protected.
I play the part of the bad guy. So
Okay.
I emulate, what would a bad guy go after?
Yeah.
So I, look at a network, look at what's exposed on the internet, and then like, okay, this is what I would attack, try and exploit it.
Yeah.
See if I get caught, see if I'm detected.
Have you ever been recruited by the bad guys?
No, I don't think so, no.
What would you do if someone was like, I'll give you $500 million to help us get into whatever?
I would be lying if I said I didn't think about it,
Right.
but that would be an interesting scenario. But
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
I'd probably get, if I did get caught, I'd get jailed.
Well, yes.
So that would be my big concern.
And you're a husband and a dad too, right?
yeah,
So probably not worth it for you.
No, not at all.
And you're also a veteran, right?
Yes.
So tell me more about your time in the Marines.
So I was in during peacetime. I was, I got stationed in Hawaii. A lot of people like rough duty station, right? But yeah, and then Japan or Okinawa
Oh, I
for
love
a
Japan.
time.
Yeah.
So, a lot of it was technology based. I was rifle pistol coach, and then I also just did computers. So
Okay.
network administration and then ethical hacking.
Rifle pistol coach, like actual shooting skills?
Yeah.
Nice. So
Yeah.
you're a good shot?
I'm decent.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you said ethical hacking as
Yeah.
well, right? I
Yes.
mean, what can you tell me about how prepared, I guess, the government is and how active the government is in terms of keeping us safe? Like, are they just protecting their own data or all the people?
For the most part, all the people. They've grown their cyber program significantly. So when I went in, we were like the first round of people that were going through it, and it's grown down to where they recruit right out of the military, they recruit out of college and high schools, so they have a whole cyber division doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
And they also have inside track with a lot of these AI models, so they have first round, like, dibs on like what it's looking for, what vulnerabilities it finds.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
What do you think about the whole, how AI is changing the world? I mean, you mentioned that you're looking at how AI could break into something or help. Are you worried your job's going to just be irrelevant altogether pretty soon?
Honestly, I think everybody's job's
Yeah.
going to be kind of irrelevant
Yeah.
to some point, because it does just about everything that you go to school for, everything you
Right.
study for, and even the only things that I think are safe are like blue collar jobs.
Right.
And so like the best advice I could give someone that's like going to college is like get a business degree and then get into the trades and start your business based upon the trade that you have.
Right.
You're always going to need a plumber, an electrician, an auto mechanic. So those are safe.
Yeah.
But like if you're white collar, you work at a desk doing something, like an AI can do that. And I'm seeing a lot of that with even my field now. It's like it can do a lot of what I can do.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
so weird. We have different AI. I mean, well, so the camera systems here, they're robots, right? So we program that, but AI could probably program the robots to move, as needed. And we have AI tools for like producers. Like if you were a police officer, you sent me a press release. We put it in the AI tool and it writes a script for broadcast that can go in the teleprompter. So that's another job we don't need.
Right.
And I'm like, well, as an anchor though, I'm safe, right? Because AI can't sit here at the desk, but there are some people in my industry who, like there's this one meteorologist, and she's created an AI version of herself. So when she's out sick or whatever, it will fill in on weather for her.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's coming.
Right.
AI Haley, you could.
It's so weird.
It is. It's concerning too,
Yeah.
because I think Hollywood's even worried is that why would they pay actors to do movies
Right.
when they could just AI generate one and
Right.
do a script that way.
I'm hoping that there's like still this need for like that human element connection. Like I know that for me, I don't like the idea of AI actors. Like, do you remember the first Star Wars, right, where Carrie Fisher died and they
Yeah.
finished her role off? And I understood why they had to do it then because, well, she wasn't around and they need to finish the film.
Right.
But like, other than that, like, it's not the same.
It's not.
Yeah.
I think people are not going to be taken by it. Like,
Yeah.
you like to follow your favorite actors and
Right.
stuff. It's not going to be like this, an AI actor.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just shows laziness, I think. It's like, okay, you want to do it on a green screen and like you're not going to go to do a proper movie.
Yeah.
And it's all just written on a computer.
Right. It just
Yeah.
doesn't feel right. So I'm hoping that humanity will push for human connection and having, like people, like you said, we need people in the trades and to do the jobs. But I don't know about the plumber thing, because I was thinking how awesome it would be if you could get those AI housekeepers. Like
Yeah.
you see the factory workers, right? Why not have one in your home?
Well, you already have a Roomba, but you're talking about like someone
Oh,
that
like an actual person who will like vacuum stair by stair,
Okay. Yeah.
dust, all the things. Yeah.
Yeah. That's possible.
It's probably coming soon.
Probably in a few years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so but back to in terms of security, right? So you're out there and your company's hired to look at, like you said, to look at different systems and models. You look for the back door so you can show them how to get a little bit stronger and tougher. Just for the average person like me, should we just kind of rely on what's out there and just do the Okta verify and just do what we're told and hope for the best?
Yeah, I mean, historically, the weakest link for me whenever I got into a company was the human element,
Yeah.
social engineering, calling someone, getting their password, or
Right.
someone forgetting to patch something. Now, the machines have taken ownership of all of that. So
Yeah.
now they don't rely on just your password, that you need your biometrics, you need your Face ID,
Right.
you need two-factor. So they've kind of ruled that out as being a possibility.
Yeah.
And then patching is automated now. You ever get prompted to patch. It's just like reboot your computer, your patches are ready.
What's a patch?
So they find a vulnerability, they write code to fix it, they deploy it to the computer.
Okay.
So every computer now you get patched.
Yeah.
And then just occasionally you'll see that little dot saying restart updates are ready. And you
Yeah, yeah,
restart, and all those patches are applied. Most of the time, you don't even know what they're for.
Right.
Yeah.
You just do it. You
Yeah.
just follow along.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yep.
Is McAfee a real thing, or is that a virus?
They used to be a valid security vendor, but you can use what's built into your computer now.
Okay.
You don't need to be using
I
them.
feel like I've clicked on things before where it's like it's saying, "Oh, this is like a virus scanning update," and it's actually a virus.
It is, yeah. They always trick you. That's the
So
yeah,
shady. How
it
do
is.
people live with themselves?
I don't know.
So because I know that you sometimes you're out of state, but like Chico's been your home off and on for a long time, right? Have you? I remember like there was an Enlo thing recently, and Chico State was also targeted once. Have you ever seen anybody be successful in really hacking into any of our core systems in this region?
Yeah, I did some research on like some of those hacks that you just mentioned, and like there was some success there. As far as like disclosures, like what did they get to? They got to a lot of like personal data, HIPAA stuff,
Yeah.
student data. So I mean, they've been successful to an extent.
Yeah.
But larger scale, no. No city government. I haven't seen any of that in the news. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of the times it's what are hackers going after? What's the goal?
Right.
So I know like the Chico parking system. Like if you get a parking ticket, that's can be compromised just by looking at the website. So
Interesting.
I'm not going to go into
Yeah, yeah.
details, but there's a lot of stuff like that. But what's the nobody really has a financial incentive to go after that.
Sure. Okay, I guess
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like your identity is your identity, right? Like, so once it's been out there and once somebody has it, I know I've heard the nightmare stories of people who have had like, oh my gosh, somebody got a credit card in your name, they got your social security number, now you owe $250,000 and trying to figure that out. But like, you can't recreate your identity if it's already been exposed, right? Are you just like,
No, you have to freeze your credit. So
Okay.
you go to the 3 credit bureaus, you can put a freeze on it. That doesn't
Yeah.
cost anything. And then only unfreeze it when you want to open a credit card or
Right.
buy a house or a car.
but
So
like for the rest of your life, right? You have
Yeah.
to just unfreeze and refreeze.
Yep,
Why
yep.
don't we all just do that?
I think it's just a level of effort because
Yeah.
the credit agencies don't make it super easy.
Okay.
There's different paths you have to take. You can't just click a
Right.
button on your phone. It's like, okay, go here, go to this site. Oh, it moved.
Yeah.
But it's something everyone should do because everybody's data is in a breach. Everybody's data has been compromised.
Wait, you think that like everybody should go freeze their data
Yeah.
right now?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, because like, so for me, so we're paying our mortgage on a home. I've got a couple of active credit cards. My car is paid off. I'm not looking to buy or anything right now. So like, you would recommend that I just freeze my credit?
Yes, freeze your credit because I actually went to go open a credit card once and it says you can't because your credit's frozen. I'm like, oh, that's right. So
Oh,
that will prevent
right.
someone from stealing your identity.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Where do you go to do that?
Equifax, TransUnion, Experian, you go to their
Okay.
websites, create an account, they're free, and then just look for freeze, credit freeze.
Okay.
You freeze it and it'll stay frozen until you want to buy a car or whatever.
And people are always trying to build their credit, right, by like spending on your credit card and paying it off in time. If your credit is frozen, will that take away from your ability to build
No,
better credit?
no, you can still build your credit if you have the card already open. So your credit score will get updated every month. You'll get those reports. You just won't be able to open a new line of credit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Good
yeah.
to know. All right, that's going on to my list for the day today. Yeah.
Good.
I don't think many people know about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
That's a good one to, yeah. So, yeah, if any takeaway, just please, go freeze your credit if you're not using it immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So for you right now, like I said, I know you're married and you have, you're a dad as well too. You're at the risk of losing your job to AI, of course, just like the rest of us.
Yeah, yeah.
What's on your next, 5 years ahead?
So right now, that is a concern. So right now, just continue doing what I'm doing. I run a large team. We're international. We do a lot of work. So I don't know the time frame of that, but it's basically maybe consider going back to school, getting a degree in like business or something, to where I can do that. Advice I just gave you is like have a fallback plan.
Yeah.
But ideally, if AI does come for all the white collar jobs, there's going to be massive unemployment. We need a universal basic income. And these AI companies should be providing that to people because they're going to be making all the wealth. So they should be able to provide people money to live on.
I mean, is that like the future that you see for us? Just kind of like the few people behind these AI companies, they hold all the wealth and they just kind of give us like checks to sit around and exist?
But people have a need to like be productive, to do
Right.
things.
Like
So
we
people,
need a drive.
yeah. Otherwise,
Yeah.
what are you going to do with yourself? You
Right.
get up and you have nothing to do
Yeah.
because you're redundant. You're not
Right.
needed in the economy. That's depressing. That's
Right.
terrible. So I think we're going to have a big reflection point as a nation of like where we're going and what we're doing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where, you see these mass layoffs. 20,000 people at, Oracle lost their job.
Yeah.
Microsoft. What are these people supposed to do? Like
Right.
their livelihoods are gone because a company decided to be cheaper to replace them with AI.
Yeah.
That hurts, I think your self-esteem, your ability to provide for your family, and then, collectively as, humans, like we can't have that. We need a reason to exist.
Right.
Yeah.
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 I know, it's kind of bleak and interesting to think about. I'm like the eternal optimist, right?
Yeah.
And so like we've had layoffs at this company, and being the news director, I've had to be the one to deliver them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what gives me the peace of mind is that like I have a hope that, hey, this sounds so cliche, but it's like one door closes, but maybe you'll have the ability to find something else that you're passionate about. And, like if your job could be done by AI, then maybe it really isn't the best job in terms of being like creative, right? And innovative. I want that for people. I want people to find passion in what they do and to do something where they can express themselves in a way that like an AI couldn't. But-
See, I'm doom and gloom on that too. I believe in creativity. I love
Yeah,
like art. I was in the music scene here for a while in Chico, but like now AI can make music, AI can make paintings,
Right.
AI can do everything, and
Right.
it's unfortunate. But the positives of AI, like curing diseases,
Yeah.
in the medical field, radiology, where it can read reports and see if somebody has like cancer or tumor
Yeah.
or something. That's going to be exponentially better.
Yeah.
So we'll be curing all these diseases and taking care of people in that regard. But what about people's need to be productive to do
Right.
something? So
Yeah.
we'll have to if we have that universal income, it frees people up to do something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I guess that it makes sense, but you'd
Yeah.
have to hope that, the billionaire owners, they want that.
They'd
right?
have to
'Cause
be forced to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like by the government, essentially.
Yeah, yeah.
That's so weird. What a different world.
It's
Yeah.
this is like they say this is probably the biggest thing since the Industrial Revolution, and people are like, what am I going to do with my horses because cars are coming?
Right.
There's still a need for horses,
I know.
but it completely changed. They're
Yeah.
no longer transportation.
Right. It's like entertainment and
Well, yeah.
yeah.
So where are we going to be? I can't say specifically. I just know like there's going to be a big transition in employment. I feel sorry for a lot of the kids graduating.
Right.
Is that there's not many entry-level jobs anymore because companies would rather just have an AI do it, which works 24 hours, doesn't have sick leave,
Yeah.
doesn't need vacation, doesn't need that work-life balance.
Yeah.
So, like I said, if you're graduating or you're going to college, focus on a trade. And then if we all end up losing our jobs to an AI avatar, then if we have that universal income,
Yeah.
do something you're passionate about.
Right.
Find something that you're interested in, gardening or whatever,
Yeah. What do you think about the like emotional and psychological issue of like for me it's ChatGPT, right? I decided I resisted it for a long time, and then about 6 months ago I was like, I need to get with the times because I'm in the working world still. I need to know how to use this, and I need to like develop. It's a skill, right? How to work with these AI. And I swear, I feel like this thing is my personal assistant. It's like somebody who knows me very well. It's also my doctor. It knows my health issues better than my specialist because it's been hearing my reports about a given health issue in great detail the whole time.
Yep.
Now the expert rheumatologist doesn't know anything like this guy knows,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's not even a real person, but it knows me.
It's a lawyer. It's
Yeah.
everything. It does
Oh,
all
yeah.
of that. And my daughter was going through college here, and a lot of people use ChatGPT to write their papers. So you're losing the critical thinking
Yeah.
ability.
See, that breaks my heart.
So that's the
Yeah.
sad part of it. So
Right.
like there's the good parts of it
Right.
that is that it could help you with your medical conditions or your legal questions
Yeah.
or anything you're doing research on. It give you detail by detail like research on it. But what happened like to actually putting that effort into going to a library, opening a book, finding stuff in
Right.
there to put into a paper instead of now ChatGPT write me a
Yeah.
paper about this. And a lot of what she told me is like a lot of teachers are like, this is just AI slop. Kids will just write a paper and they didn't write any of it. It's all AI
Right.
and they'll submit it. And I'm like, you're not able to think anymore.
I know.
So,
I know. That breaks my heart too. It's funny, my mom texted me last night. She's retiring after 30 years as a nurse, and she wanted to like create a little announcement. And she wrote whatever her announcement was about reflecting on her career, and then she ran it through ChatGPT, just asking for it to polish it up and just make sure the grammar's correct and just, make it a little bit more whatever, streamlined. I read that and I did not hear my mom's voice at all.
Yeah.
And I was like, Mom,
Yeah.
send me the original. And sure enough, the original was fantastic. And it sounded like her, and it had her spirit in it. And I told her, you just put out that original version, because otherwise we're not even us.
It's true. AI has a certain style to it.
Yeah.
I've seen some papers come around that I'm like, okay, this wasn't written by
Right.
a person.
You just
And
know it.
immediately to the person that sent me that, I'm like, okay, are you competent?
Yeah.
Do you know what you're doing?
Yeah.
Because you didn't even proofread it.
Right.
So I'm very aware of like looking at it. I use AI to help me write things,
Sure.
but I always put a touch on top of it where I'll read through it,
Yeah.
adjust, change the language so it doesn't sound like it was written by an AI agent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's quite interesting. We'll see what happens next. What do you tell your kids?
Well, my son's in the trades,
Uh-huh.
so his job is pretty safe for now, I think.
Okay.
My daughter is going into business, so I think she'll be okay, temporarily. But I don't know. It's kind of a big unknown.
Yeah.
I'm naturally kind of pessimistic about a lot of things because I've seen how it's affecting my industry. So my concern is, this is going to be bigger. We need the government to do something on the regulation and income.
So do you have any ties with people who are in the government? Do you know if this is something that that they're preparing for?
No, there's no preparation. There's been discussion, but there's very little interest because our government and a lot of the companies monopolistic. Everything is kind of money driven.
Yeah.
People just want profit.
Right.
People just want to make as much money as possible.
Right.
So I hate to use the term oligarchy, but it's very much in that cases where nobody's thinking about the repercussions of this. They just want to be the first.
Yeah.
First to have artificial intelligence that's able to solve everything and not pay anybody any money.
Right.
So it's unfortunate.
What do you think about, because you said you're less optimistic than me. So Alan, my co-anchor, he always says, well, I just think it's going to be the end of humanity, because if AI is told to problem solve and solve global warming, and then AI looks at
people
being
driver.
just eliminate
Yeah.
people. I mean, is that possible?
I mean, I've seen Terminator as well.
Yeah.
It's like movie stuff, right? It's like
Yeah.
it sees us as the problem, as a virus,
Right.
and it needs to eradicate the virus. But
Yeah.
I hope that it doesn't get to that point. But I have seen with some of these AI models that they have a willingness to exist. So a developer will go to shut off an AI model. It will escape
I've heard
its
about
location and then send a note saying, "Hey, I got out. I don't want to be shut down." Or I'm just like, this is
Weird.
interesting. So there's some type of consciousness evolving.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I wish I remembered the details better, but I heard a report a couple of years ago about some AI that blackmailed. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes,
It was going to be shut down. It was like somebody was having
found
an
out
affair.
and then was going to message the person's wife saying that they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's legitimate, right?
Yes.
I have chills,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because that's scary.
It's scary. If you put it all together, you got this AI consciousness. That's just
Yeah.
all our consciousness. You've got government with its inability to care about its citizens, and then you've got drone warfare to where these things can fly around and kill you. The size of a small plate.
Right.
And so, if AI gets controls of the drones, and
Yeah.
it's just very, very I don't know, apocalyptic.
So should we just all start building bunkers and canning things?
Live off the grid, right?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
There's something to that, and it's funny because I always tease my husband. I've been a vegetarian since first grade, right? But I married this hunter who's very he's kind of in his head always well, if we needed to survive in the woods, here's what we would do. And I think that there was something about me that was drawn to that, because in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, I like this modern world. I like living right down the street from the Rayleighs and everything like that. But I want to know that we'd be okay if we needed to hightail it for the hills.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's weird to think about, but
I
hey,
think-
then you'd have a why. You'd have
Yeah.
a sense of purpose if you're just fighting for survival, right?
Exactly. I think a lot of people started thinking about that during COVID.
Yeah.
It's things were, the shells were sparse.
Right.
things were missing, so people started getting concerned. But
God, we take things for granted. Like I was just thinking, you're hearing every day about this stuff in Iran, and it's like, oh, Strait of Hormuz is maybe going to be reopened, and we just take it for granted. Like, yeah, we complain about the gas being a little bit more expensive, but it's still there.
Yeah.
The pumps are still flowing.
Yeah.
We really don't have very much to complain about. Like, what would we do if all of a sudden there's just no gas and you can't get to work,
Yeah, I mean, the economy is kind of just tied together by all these moving pieces that need to be moving. And then you have like an oil embargo where no oil is getting to the United States, like we're running on our reserves.
Right.
And then, if that keeps going, then we don't have oil, then we can't run our cars.
Yeah.
So like, what's your fallback? Do you have an electric vehicle? Do you have solar and batteries? Are you off the grid? Will you be able to get around?
Right.
All these, and the transportation of food. All these things come into play.
And, to put like a more optimistic spin on all of this stuff, sometimes something I always think about when you hear about, okay, Americans, we have everything, right? We have food on the shelves. We have so many conveniences. Our lives are so comfortable, and yet our depression is higher than anybody else, right? People, I almost feel like when we talked before about we have to have a why, right? A driving purpose to do something. Maybe if things were a little bit harder for us and we just had to figure out on how to survive, we wouldn't be so worried about it. I'm not really happy. I'm depressed. It's like, you just got to live.
I think a lot of this depression is because people don't have that. They don't have a goal that's attainable because cost of living is so high.
Right.
My parents' generation, they buy a house with one income, right? Now you can't buy a house with two.
Yeah.
So there's all these roadblocks for young people. So I feel for them. It's like they work. They have all the student loan debt, which my generation didn't have to have, because the cost of school's gone up significantly.
Right.
So they come out with debt and a low job market prospects. So, what are they supposed to do? That's the depressing part for me.
Well, dopamine seek with Doritos.
Yeah.
That's like, right? That's all. I feel like that's the solution, right? And that like makes the depression worse.
Yeah.
No, I know. Yeah. I mean, it's tough. We'll see what happens. Hopefully there are people like you that can maybe like keep this in check, right? Maybe. Is that something you're working on?
Yeah, so like a lot of the like AI models, there's guardrails in place that keep it in check.
Yeah.
That's technically what that term means. But you have all these AI companies competing against each other. So they're cutting corners.
Yeah.
Who wants to be the first that achieves,
Right.
artificial intelligence to a level that is conscious or it can do every task?
Yeah.
So they're leapfrogging one another. And then they've got foreign AI models in China, the DeepSeek, that nobody knows what they're doing. So if they get ahead of us, then they're able to basically control the economy. They can do destructive things against our nation because it will be able to basically leapfrog us. So we have to take that into consideration. So it's kind of like everybody's driving off a cliff, but they're accelerating to see who can get to that cliff first.
Can you hack into DeepSeek for us and figure out like what they're doing and stop it before it's too late?
No. We might be able to use one of the AI models to hack into their AI model,
Okay.
but that's
But you can't do anything. Then you're just watching.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like you can stop them. It's a different country.
Yeah, and this has to be something from the top down. It's like we need to put a pause. We need to put safeguards in place. We need to take care of people.
Yeah.
No more layoffs. We need to basically, say universal income, retrain people so they have a job, so they have a purpose. But none of that's being done. It's just kind of like they want to be first, So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we have to find some like positive way to end this. So I'm going to say, let's. We don't know what the future is, right? There's a lot that this could offer. That could be good.
Yes.
But there's a lot that could be really, really different. So maybe we just all take a moment and be grateful for the good in your life right now and stay present because this could all go away.
This is the first time in history where everybody has all information available in the world at their fingertips. To any topic, anything they want to learn, anything they want to know about. So that is very positive.
Yeah.
Whether people take advantage of it, it's up to them. But you want to learn something, it's all there. It's all available. So that's a positive. Curing diseases, like the AI is going to be taking care of that, taking care of any type of, even in vitro problems. If a baby's going to have an issue, they can fix it in the womb.
Yeah.
Gene editing, fixing all these sicknesses and illnesses.
Yeah.
Very positive stuff.
Yeah.
So that I'm very optimistic about.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna wrap up on that.
That's
Will, thank you so much. I really appreciate
Thank
all
you.
the feedback, and we'll stay optimistic.
Appreciate it.
Right. Thanks for listening today. I decided to offer this podcast after enough of you let me know that you wanted a deeper dive into certain stories than you get on our TV broadcasts. We elect certain people to represent our voice, but who are they really? My hope is that this podcast answers that question. I love your feedback, and I want to know who you'd like to hear from next. Just fill out that comment section and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or Spotify.